I'm presenting on behalf of Group 3, and as the chair read, our presentation is in two parts. The first part addresses aligning university research to industry needs, and the second part talks about promoting effective knowledge transfer. So I'm taking the first part, which talks about alignment. Now, my group members and I came up with the fact that the research undertaking should be collaborative research with industry. Now, when that happens, each sector is going to draw on the strengths of each other. The universities will draw on the strengths of industry, and industry will draw on the strengths of the universities. This is linked to our second point, which talks about the universities, and for that matter, the individual departments of the universities undertaking market surveys to know actually what the industries want. And this will ensure that research undertaken by the universities is actually demand-driven. Now, linked to this, we also said that just as the universities have academic advisory boards, the university should have industry advisory committees or boards or units linked down to the departmental level, such that if we take, for instance, chemistry department at a university, it has members from the maybe pharmaceutical industry actually on that board of the department, and they will help advise on curricula of areas of importance to them. So this will help the department actually train students or conduct research, master's students, PhD students related to those sectors. So one other point we spoke about also was for us to put in place, or for a funding plan, which we refer to as the industry-driven research funding scheme, to be put in place, because we know all this we've spoken about is going to be fueled by money. If we don't have money available, it's going to be difficult. So if we have an industry-driven research funding scheme, which the universities can tap into, it's going to serve as funding for some of these industry-driven research that we are talking about. Then for the second part, which is about promoting more effective knowledge transfer, an idea was brought up whereby students learn directly about models used in industry, our local industries. If we take maybe, for instance, Unilever Ghana, if we take Nestle, for instance, machinery and things they are actually using there. Here in the classroom, we can build mini versions of those models and study those models such that when you complete school and you are asked to work on or work with such equipment, it's not new to you. It's something you are actually conversant with. Instead of learning about a machine that, for instance, you may never actually see in Ghana, not because maybe we can't afford or something, but because it doesn't really address our needs here. So that's one thing we spoke about, not learning in abstraction. It should be tailored towards our society, as each society has its peculiar problem. And the example of Toyota Ghana liaising with the Department of Engineering at the University of Ghana was given as an example. Also, we noticed that industries actually rely on the end users, which are the consumers. So the universities likewise have to link with the end users because it's a chain. Okay. Then we spoke about publishing research journals, publishing in research journals, which are also open, or creating a platform such that industries can just go there, maybe search for a particular topic, and they will be able to get information on research done on that particular topic here in Ghana by the universities. So it makes it easier to share information such that what has been done on research and what they need as industry can be obtained from such platforms. If not the whole research, the abstract at least of such research is what was mentioned. We also spoke about the fact that there should be some certification mechanism, and this was linked to training. For instance, it gives that confirmation that there's a particular standard being maintained when it comes to knowledge transfer, when you have a certificate to prove that. So linked to training is certification mechanism. And it's also related to IP. There should be IP, intellectual property in place for technologies developed and all that. Then we spoke about the fact that communication, science communication should be taken very seriously. We should use formats which are more accessible to industry, not necessarily only the journals. We can create videos on certain research that we've conducted. We can write short articles, something watered down such that someone who may not have too much time will be willing to watch or read and get the information that we want industry to get. We spoke about universities developing policies and guidelines for knowledge transfer to industries and communities. So this should be a deliberate plan. There should be a deliberate plan where we have a structured policy and guideline by university that, oh, when you finish research, this should be done. Or even before you start research, this is the points you start with, this is where you go to. And that will help in the knowledge transfer, which we are looking at, which should be 2 ways. Then, we need more marketing and visibility. When it comes to the universities, we have to make known, we have to sell ourselves. What can you do? What are you available for? Who can we see? Marketing and visibility is very important as a university if we want industry to lace with us. Now, the question comes again, where does funding come from? For all these ideas we came up with as Group 3 of the knowledge transfer, then we noticed that to help funding, the technologies developed when we have the intellectual property certified and all for them, and the researcher gets his or her portion, the university should also have a percentage. That money can be put aside to help with all these steps that we came up with. I think Group 3, thank you very much.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Group 3. Yes. Do it up, please, do it better for yourselves. You've done so well. Yes, 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 yes. I would like to acknowledge the presence of Director STNI at MESTI, Mr. Kwamna Esilfi Kwesin. Yes. Yeah. Thank you so much. He joined us earlier, way earlier. But then because we were so doing all sorts of things here, yeah. But now we are settled and we are happy to receive him. You are welcome. Yes, please, question 2. Which group?
So we had what steps can research institutions take to enhance their capacity to collaborate with the universities and industries and promote the commercialization of research outcomes better? So that is what we had. And with me is a rapporteur to really do the presentation.
Question 2. Yes. Thank you. Okay, so in our group, these are some of the ideas we came up with. One of the things that we find that was very important is that it was very important for institutions and the stakeholders in the ecosystem to band together to influence policy. Unfortunately, one of the things we noted was that when politics lead policies, we don't have the outcomes that are needed. So we made a suggestion that there should be an engagement with the 5 main ministries that are actually very essential to this. That's the MOSTI, Finance Ministry, Health and Agriculture, and also a select committee involved in this area so that we can push forward, because it's very important that policies and systems allowed us to better facilitate processes. One of the issues we also noted is that certain structures did not allow for example, easy access to funding. Am I clear? Okay, I just want to be sure.
You're very clear. You are, except the MOSTI, you said MOSTI. Ministry of Trade and Industry.
Yes, Ministry of Trade and Industry.
Okay,
I'm sorry. Thank you very much. Yes, I'm a bit nervous. So, as I'm saying, it's because some of the issues that research institutions actually face is issues with release of funds, even logistics issues, being able to access the tools they need, the equipment they need to facilitate better research work. And unfortunately, it could most likely because of the bureaucracy in the system where you have to go through a lot of processes just to get things done. And this affects commercialization because you have industries wanting to collaborate with research institutions, but they know that if they try to collaborate, they're going to have to go through a lot of steps and processes, and that would mean delay in production. So why don't I just import things and just not stress myself? So it's very important that policy is leading politics. Another thing we really hammered on is that research should be industry-led, where from the beginning, industries should have a direct take in the research institutions. They should have a seat there where an industry is interested in doing something, they bring it to the research institutions, and research answer the questions that industries need. So there should be a structure that allows for that. And another point we've also brought up is creating collaboration opportunities between academia and industries. The whole idea is similar to what was shared by one of the gentlemen earlier on, where from the start, from the university levels, the research levels, university students get to engage in projects with industries that actually creates commercialization opportunities. So what is happening is that we're not training people who have only done theory, but actually done practical things, are full of ideas, and that's how people actually enter into the industry and make impact. And also with CSIR, I'm not sure I pronounce it well, it's very important. So they have a system where they have focal personnel at different regions in Ghana, and these personnel act as a point of contact till they get down to the district level, and where there can be collaboration, where we can understand the needs, the research needs at the district level, the metropolitan level, and so it's very important to allow for collaboration at that point. I think that will be all for us. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Group 4. Yes, please give it up for them, please. They've done very well. So the motto is Ministry of Trade and Industry. Is that not it? Yes. Firstly, I didn't hear that one. I heard Mesty Mosty. So I was like, hey, Ministry of Trade, but it's all good. Thank you so much. Please put it there. Group 3. Thank you. Hey, question 3. Question 3, sorry. But the chairperson has to speak first too. Oh, okay, thank you. They have their own arrangement. So please carry on.
Good afternoon. I'm Mercy Jima. I'm chairperson for Group 2. Now question is, what are the key factors industries look for in partnership with universities and research institutions, and how can these factors be met to ensure successful collaboration? So I'll therefore call on Nana Boateng to come and do the presentation for us.
What a romantic group.
Thank you very much. Group 2. I must admit we have a wonderful group full of talent. We have wonderful points put together to share with you all this afternoon. Okay. So, first of all, we want to establish in our minds who the industry person is so that we could understand the various points that we put together. One, we should understand that the industry player is a business entity. 2, we should understand that business entities go into collaborations, 1, to ensure their businesses thrive and they are making profits. And so they have a reason to collaborate. Now, what are some of the factors that will enable industry to collaborate with either a university or a research institution? And what will make these factors be successful? 1, we identify that before an industry player will want to engage a university or a research institution, they want to understand the expertise of such an institution. They want to have a good understanding of what type of experts you have, what type of scientists you have, what kind of solutions you can propound, what kind of troubles you can solve. So that's the first point we identified. Then how will this point be successful? It's when our universities can actually show evidence of the type of expertise we have through our frequent publication and engagement with industry. And so if you're a research institution and you have all the scientists and the public don't know what kind of scientists you have or what they are capable of doing, then we are doing ourselves a disservice. 2, industry, we want to understand what kind of track record you have, because this builds their confidence in the collaboration they are looking forward to. And so they will expect that for this to be successful, in universities and research institutions should show evidence of track record, of successes they have achieved in the past, or evidence of some of the solutions they have actually undergone. And this will also give confidence to industry that the problem that I have in which I'm looking for a research institution or university, I am confident that Legon can solve my problem for me because they have shown this before. They have evidence of what they have done in the past. And so this gives me confidence to collaborate with them. Another point that we also came out with was how resourceful an institution or a research institution or university is. There's a point that an industry will want to consider. Before we go into any form of collaboration, our industry will want to understand that such a university or a research institution is really resourceful, have the capacity and capability to resolve a challenge I probably have, or embark on a collaboration with us because they do have the necessary and the required resources. For this to be successful, universities and research institutions should be seen to be very resourceful, should have the latest of laboratories and equipment, all in the name of building confidence in the collaboration with industry. Thank you very much. Another point is how credibility as the institution I'm going to partnership is, and how authentic it is. So it lies upon the universities and research institutions to show some level of credibility and authenticity, to the extent that at least projects, courses that they're propounding have accreditation, and also they can show evidence of endorsement by their peers. A very big other point we also considered, and that industry we're looking forward to, is commercial viability of the partnerships. So most of the times you do have a lot of research findings coming out from our universities and our research institutions, but we find it difficult to establish commercial viability. The industry player who is a businessman only understands business, how this work inuring to my benefit financially. But how resourced is our university to be able to develop very good feasibility studies and commercial viability studies on our researches that we have done? What are the various departments and institutions we have put in place? And even when we have those institutions in place or departments in place, how have we built their capacity to understand, to put certain documents together that industry understands, the industry language, the business language, the bank visibility language? Are we at that level? So it's very important that universities and research institutions ensure that their collaboration we're looking forward to must be commercially viable. There are a lot more points that we have here. I will not take your time, but in the chambers, when you see us, we can give you some more. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. So please, all the presentations that have been made here should be submitted to the desk. We need to collect all of them for our work in the future. Okay. The romantic group, they are done. By the way, they slay. Okay. Question 4. Which group is question 4? Yes, Professor Toto. The chairperson will speak, after which the secretary would also come and make contributions. Please give it up for them, please, please. Thank you so much, Prof.
Good. Thank you so much. So this is group 5, and we have the number 4. How can stakeholders work together to develop more effective mechanisms for funding and supporting collaborative research projects in Ghana? There are key items we have to take note. Stakeholders, effective mechanisms, funding, l'argent, and projects in Ghana. I'll invite our capable secretary to deliver for us. Thank you.
Whoa, 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 whoa. Give it up for him. Whoa.
All right, thank you very much for the opportunity. My name is Francis Afove, and I'm from the African Foundation for Climate Change and Sustainable Development. So as he read, the question number 4. So we had a lot of discussions, and we're looking at the stakeholders. And in the stakeholders, we came up with 8 different stakeholders. And we have the government, we have the parliament, we have the academia, we have the research institution, financial institution, development partners, and the venture capitals. So these are the stakeholders that we identify as far as this is concerned. So in our discussion, we realized that there should be effective partnership among these stakeholders in order to raise funding. And then also, we also realized that these stakeholders should work together for mobilizing resources. And in as much as they have a common goal of mobilizing resources, there should be effective research planning. So this is the planning that can help the funders to be able to release the necessary fund that is relevant for a particular research. Then we also come out with VAT. VAT here has nothing to do with money, but it has to do with visibility, accountability, and transparency. And then there should also be policy and legislation. For example, the operationalization of the Act 1056 of the Ghana National Research Funds. And then there should also be proper positioning of research impact. Most of the donors look at the impact before they will bring their money. They look at the research, would there be any impact? Some also look at the benefits that they will get in terms of the research, maybe in terms of monetary aspects. Some also look at the social impact. So they should also define the impacts as far as their research is concerned. Then in the effective mechanism, we also identify some key points. 1, ensuring that we have a body in the ecosystem to identify important needs. Under the ecosystem, there should be a body. That is, their relevant duty is to identify the important needs in the ecosystem. And then also, there should be manpower and organization building. Then lastly, bringing all the relevant stakeholders together for effective understanding of a common goal. There should be a common goal that they are all working together, on. So this is what we came up with. We have a lot of, points, but as far as time is concerned, we need to stop here. And thank you very much for the opportunity.
Thank you so much. Please, the VAT, no. You say what is it?
Visibility, accountability, and transparency.
That's fine. Thank you so much. Thank you, thank you. The last question goes to Dr. Kwei. Dr. Kwei's group. Please, the chairperson will talk and then the secretary will talk. It seems to me one person is missing. Yes, is that person the secretary? Okay. Yeah, the spokesperson is vanished, but it doesn't matter. The chairperson will still do the delivery, and then we'll see how we can manage it. The gentleman from Talu is supposed to be the spokesperson. Yes, thank you so much, Dr. Kwei.
So shall we have a resounding clap for the group? A resounding clap for the group. Group 1, being the last, because last things are very heavy things. So our question is to come up with strategies we give the strategic eye to the problem. So these are the highlights. We identified what the situation or the status quo is like, what are the issues, what are the preferable solutions, and how do we sustain these solutions. So the first point is that we have institutional level means of engaging our industry partners, our researchers, and academia, but they are all in silos. So we have, for example, if you go to the universities, we have academia, stroke industry person being on the board. Similarly, we have same for the research institutions. But we need a common platform for engagement. When you go to the industry, they are also very much reserved, and we need to break the ice. So we don't just want to have interns as industry players, but we want to have something that is of Ghanaian culture. And so the solutions, for number one, we say that we need a body, a coordination body, or a coordinating body. Are we talking about GEC Center? No, we want something that is very straight on to engage research, stroke, academia, and industry. So we want something like a chamber. We call it the Giuric Chamber or the Giuric Network. And why is it so important to have such a network or such a chamber? One, to influence policy. Two, to make sure that we have demand-driven research. Three, to improve or enhance adoption of research findings. And lastly, to enforce on co-generation of research findings, co-generated by both industry players and researchers. We co-own the process, we co-own the results. How do we sustain this? There should be a mechanism, something like tax incentive, that will channel such resources into a fund. It has to be coordinated by the body. We do not want something that is more of government, and I'm strange, I am the one to say this, something that is very mimical to a private-driven approach. The members for the group, can we have a resounding clap again, my group members? We need a clap. So we have members from MESTI, wave. Research, kindly wave. Education. And our money man has left, so I'm waving doubly for them. Wow. Thank you.
Wow. Please give it up. Doc, please. So, is it a URI network or GURI? What did I hear? Was that an acronym?
They said they added G to the URI.
Okay. Yeah, because I couldn't find a GURI, but I heard GURI.
It's Ghana. It's not government. It's
Ghana. So you see, now it is clear. So GURI, Ghana, and the URI, you should look for the other the meaning of that acronym and add, because we are done. As it is, it's been a very great session. You guys have been awesome and amazing. I didn't know scientists and researchers are so disciplined. I thought it is the admin people, but then the way everything so beautifully done and well coordinated, very meaningful interactions had so far. So I would like to request Professor Toto to give us a closing remark. But before then, we will have to go for lunch. Sorry, lunch at the other side, okay? Yes.
Great. Thank you so much, Gloria. And I'm standing in for Mr. Boache, who just has to walk to another meeting. It's unfortunate he has to leave us at this time. So on this note, I want to say a very big thank you to every member who came this morning. It's been a very laudable discussion because the topic that we have looked at today, looking at Ghana industry, the university, research institutions, collaboration, is key for our survival. This morning, we've heard about when science, technology, innovation becomes the key driver for development in our country, Ghana. And this is the platform. we have come to the conclusion, the idea that we need this platform as a permanent working tool for our success. When we will achieve on this platform, which is the science, technology, innovation. And we need to keep this platform because we have all the key stakeholders in the house. And as we move further, we want to see this platform calling us together, working together, and achieving for Ghana together. Today, we have been successful to have a wonderful morning session right into the afternoon. We can't leave without saying a big thank you to those who brought us together. RISA, Heritage Labs, the partnership, MESTI, and the others. And our able MC. We are so grateful. So exciting to listen to your voice anytime we meet again. And to all members, we pray that you have a wonderful lunch when you walk to lunch. Please enjoy it, and very soon we'll meet again. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Professor Kojo. Please, a few. So much. We are so grateful to everyone.
Okay, so they want me to use 2 microphones. Right. Thank you, Prof. Toto. And thank you very much, all of us from industry, from academia, from research institutions, from CSR, who are heavily represented here. We deeply appreciate your coming. What I want to let us know is this is a journey. And we at Heritage Labs, we're actually tired of talking. Right, because I can bet you that since Nkrumah's time, these conversations have been going on. And people are seeing results, right? But the results are siloed. That means that the results are benefiting either the loudest or the person who is closer to something, right? Where we want to get to as an organization, enabling or coordinating some of these activities, is to get to the point where we see meaningful impact, very scaled up impact and acceleration of the outcomes or what we want to realize from research and innovation commercialization. Because at our core, we want to stop talking about it and want to make sure that there are actually activities, we're actually seeing tangible benefit that is just not sitting in labs, but that we are seeing more scaled up version of the needful foods, but even beyond that, even going deeper than even food. And when it comes to food research, which is very important to any nation, going deeper than that. So for us, we are very committed on this journey. And because of that, we are also very happy that we have supporters and partners like MESTI, who we closely work with to ensure that there's a lot more synergy in the implementation of research and innovation commercialization activities. Also, when our partner, RISA Fund, I always call them RISA Fund, but today it looks like my pronunciation has to change. RISA Fund, who are empowering us in different ways, both from a money point of view and also from a capacity point of view to be able to implement these activities. Our activities are quite tailored, and we are looking at specific support programs that will ensure that we actually see fruit from research and innovation. And at the core, we want to be able to ensure that there are viable value chains created for research and innovation, so that when you think, you know as a researcher or as a thinker what has to happen for whatever you're thinking about to get to people and for people to use it, so it becomes a part of everybody's everyday life. That for us is so critical for us. That viable value chain, that creates also viable economies, because from the time that you think to the point that it becomes a product that it becomes utilized, and to the point where we dispose them off, and now we talk about recycling and other things, we can actually see where the key economic touch points are, because regulation is an economic touch point. Collaboration is economic touch point. Certification, there's money to be made everywhere. Products, IP, everything, they are all economic touch points. How do you ensure that these economic touch points are enriched with the requisite structures to ensure that people can venture into these areas and accelerate the impact and the value that research creates to us. And having said that, the work still continues. It's a journey, and we need all of us involved. There are platforms that we have put together that we are testing, for example, to ensure that these conversations don't end at physical spaces. But now, in the digital world, we can still continue to have these conversations and manifest these conversations into real actions, and that can be implemented. So we have a platform called StareHub, starehub.app, right? And if you go to starehub.app, you can actually have access to an infrastructure that will enable you, for example, talk about these things. When you have an idea, you can talk about it, engage with people. In the next features releases, you're going to have the ability to mobilize resources. So if you are developing a research and then you want money for prototyping, we want to create that capability for you to put out your idea and then cohort people who would like to support you in order to move your idea from just paper to a prototype, right? So we want to still enhance and enrich this conversation, and we have platforms like this so that we continue to have those conversations, right? And we would want those who are interested, we are doing what we call the community technical preview. What it means is that we want people to opt in to use it and test it. That means that you give us an email address, we invite you. So right now if you go there, you can't enter unless we invite you. It's for, it's a closed net system right now, just for testing, to get feedback and improve it, right? And this is all made possible by Research Fund, right? So we are also looking heavily at the digitalization component of the ecosystem. And in the coming weeks and months, there's a lot of research that we are doing. We have conducted several research, what we call paradigm assessment, to understand what truly exists, right? From both the social, the science part, to know where the behavior is orienting the ecosystem and what has to be done. We have all these papers that are going to be available on the GRIPSCO website that you can also go there and download them to see what our researchers are finding out about some of the behaviors and some of the impact of research innovation. Also, we looking to put together conferences, a big conference on research innovation commercialization in the coming months, so that's later part of the month. We have inclusion activities that we do, so we entreat you, encourage everybody to ensure that when these things are happening, you can hear the announcement and then you can participate. So we deeply appreciate your presence. And finally, we have what we call Stir Grind, right? That is more like soft party, eat and drink kind of engagement for a few people once in a month, that you come to our location, and then as you munch, you tell us what you are doing so that we can figure out how we can help you connect to the right people and how we can manifest your ideas. So if you want to be invited to some of these events that we organize, those are easy, casual. You don't have to wear a lab coat. You come, we serve wine, we serve alcohol, we serve everything. So it's good to see scientists feeling free so that we can extract good feedback and information from them, right? So we deeply appreciate it, and we look forward to having you continuously support our programs and being a part and parcel of this journey. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Please, so are they going to serve all those things you mentioned?
Are they going to what?
You said apples and things, they're going to serve stuff.
I mean, yeah, when we do Stir Hubs, a Stir Grind, it's a grind. So when you come, you are grinding. You are, we don't, see, this is big English. This English, I've not spoken some before until I started this project. I'm used to sitting at tables and talking to people and, trying to move money, right? But now, working with scientists is very delicate, very accurate kind of space, and you have to be very tactical and very strategic. So we want to also bring some of the private sector grinding to the science sector and get us all jaw and figure out how to move research, innovation, commercialization forward. So there's alcohol, everything in there. Thank you.
Thank you very much.